Delaney, it's great to meet you face to face finally.
How you doing?
Oh, pretty good there. Just coming back from the holidays, it's always a bit of a grind there. How was the break for you?
It was good. It was good. Spent some time with my kids, but it's never long enough.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Did you get any extra time off, or just the holidays?
No, just the holidays.
Just the holidays.
Yeah,
Eh?
it's pretty good.
Oh, that's good to hear. I know. Did you get to travel anywhere, or what, or where's the family located?
Pretty much local, but didn't really get to do much traveling. Next year, we're thinking about doing something like that.
There you go. Oh, that's awesome. I know a few of the friends I know. They've been traveling. I know for Christmas, I had a buddy go to Thailand, one go to Vietnam. Christmas break was kind of a little bit crazy. I don't know if I'm there yet, but no, definitely understand. I'm sure there's a few spots. I know my mom's always wanted to take the family away from Christmas. She hates the cold. I don't know about you, but no, that's great. No, good to hear it. Yeah, thanks. I know, like I said, we connected a little bit, just before the break, and so I know it's kind of a tough time. Obviously, everything's being reevaluated. So hopefully, we're at a good point here where even with everything that's going on, it seemed like it'd be a great fit. What I really wanted to do is, again, won't take up too much of your time, really just about 20 minutes or so. Just wanted to ask you a couple of questions, kind of dive a little bit more into your travel scope, to see where some fits might be, where you might be able to have some value. Would that be okay?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, that's great. So again, just from where we started off last time, or we finished, I should say, you spend about $200K annually in travel, but the company is growing a fair amount. I think that's all I really gathered. But like I said, I want to know a little bit about the individual travelers as well. So how many travelers do you have within the company?
We have 10 travelers.
And they all travel fairly regularly?
That's correct. So pretty much right now, everyone's kind of doing it on their own.
Okay.
We don't really have any sort of centralized program, so it's more so just find the trip, the destination, pick your, how you're going to get there, hotel, that sort of thing. You're doing it all by yourself.
Awesome. Yeah, just using online websites. Yeah. Anyone in particular you're using, or
Expedia,
mostly Expedia,
things like that, hotels.com.
Makes sense. Where's the typical destinations for your travelers? Is it kind of similar for all 10, or is it all kind of all over the place?
It's a little scattered. More so for the management, they're going more international, but for the rest of the guys, it's I would say pretty much domestic.
Domestic. Okay. Would you be able to put like a approximate percentage on how much domestic versus international? Or?
I would say maybe 80-20.
80-20 for international.
Domestic.
Oh, 80 domestic.
Yeah.
Okay. And where are you generally traveling? I guess domestically then.
I would say more the West Coast.
West Coast.
So BC. Yeah, pretty much over there.
Pretty much out that way. Okay. And then internationally, is there any specific destinations, or?
It all depends. Sometimes China, sometimes India. It just depends.
Right. So, all right. And they said you book on their own already. What type of class will they travel? Does it kind of depend on obviously the length of the trip, or how does that work?
Typically for everyone else, they're going to be doing economy. But for any sea levels, we're all doing business class.
All right. I know you kind of mentioned a little bit about, again, they book on their own. Obviously, everyone's got kind of full autonomy on that side. Is there a policy kind of in place that you've kind of created or managed, or how's that kind of managed?
That's something we have been discussing, building a policy. Right now, we don't really have one, or we do, but it's more loose. Right, so everyone still kind of does their own thing. It's more like a reactionary thing. So after people go on their trips, we actually have to go back and review where they spent money, what kind of things they did. So it's something we definitely want to work towards.
Okay. How long or how often, I should say, are you doing that? Then are you have to go back and kind of
monthly, every single month we have to kind of do that.
And you do that with the individual travelers as well, or just as well?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So as well. So what happens again with people that book their own travel? Obviously, it sounds like if there was an issue, cancellation, delay, anything like that, like during business hours, would they have someone they can contact, or are they doing that themselves as well?
Everyone's handling it on their own.
So the same would go for after hours. I imagine they're all just on their own. Okay, that's good to know. And I know, like you said, you're going back monthly, kind of reviewing the travel thing. What kind of reporting, or what's the reconciliation process look like for you?
Right now it's very manual, so I'm kind of doing everything myself. In terms of actual reporting, I don't really have access to a lot of that. Again, it's not really been something that's been, I would say, built into our business model. So definitely something I would look into.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess what I want is, have you ever, any of your staff ever run into an emergency kind of after hours? Like what's happened, if that's ever been the case?
Yeah, it's happened a couple of times at the airline where they've had some issues. They kind of just handle it on their own. They just walk up to the desk and deal with the person there.
And you haven't heard too much backlash from that? I know maybe not from yourself, but even just from around the office?
Maybe just for the time. Some of them do get a little bit annoyed because of the time, but they kind of have to handle it on their own.
All right, understand. For sure. So one thing I did want to know, just touching on the growth again, like how has that impacted kind of your daily operations? Just even on a day-to-day basis.
It's just hectic. I mean, there's a lot more paperwork, a lot more things to do. Obviously, as we continue to expand, there's a lot more people coming in, needs new rules, new regulations. Yeah. So it does take a toll.
I'd imagine, yeah. So like if the, like, for example, if the administration kind of burden was taken off the hands of your individual travelers, like what would that mean for the business? Like how would that change things?
Oh, that'd be amazing. Something that we definitely want to work with, which is why I'm meeting with you today.
Right, exactly, yeah. That's great. What do you think, again, for the staff? Like what types of staff are traveling? So it's, like you said, I know it's 10 or so, but and there's some management in there, but those non-management travelers, like are they in sales or what roles were they generally in?
Sales guys.
Okay. And again, so have you heard anything on that side? I'd just be curious on the sales side. Like I said, if, what would it mean, for them? Like, again, I'm sure they're on the road a fair amount, it sounds like, right? So do you ever get any feedback as far as how much time they're really having to spend, or even in the office, wherever the case may be, kind of booking, handling their travel? Do you have any idea how much time they really are spending even per trip?
I would say obviously the cost of business to have my guys sitting there booking all their travel, it does take time. So if it's something we can alleviate and get rid of, then definitely it's something we'd like to do.
For sure, absolutely. Another thing too, just more maybe specific to you there on the on the financial side, sorry, just from a purely cost standpoint. Do you have anything in place? Like how would you know if you're spending more money, than you need to be spending on travel? I know you said you have a loose kind of policy, but is there anything else in place or any type of procedure in place to kind of contain those costs?
Right now, no. Again, it's very reactionary, so it's we're reviewing at the end of the year, which sounds bad, which means that we're always having to go backwards. But bringing someone like yourself on board, meaning that we can now forecast a little bit better, is something that we want to work towards, especially as we're expanding.
No, that makes a lot of sense for sure. One thing I would be curious about, like, again, with your travel program in particular, other than kind of what we've already discussed a little bit, is there anything else that you change or improve if you could?
Maybe just along the lines of, again, as you were saying, the after hours and dealing with issues after hours where my guys are a little bit, no idea want to get home early, things like that. Exactly. I think that would be an issue that,
for sure,
an area we can kind of work on.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense for sure. Again, just one thing I was kind of curious about, if we were to kind of move forward, like what would an ideal, like a travel management company, a partner, I should say, what would that kind of look like to you? What would a good relationship, like what would the, 3 pillars of that look like?
I would say the service would be number one for us. So definitely, again, my guys are very capable. We live in a time where people can use the internet. We want to make sure the service is top notch. And I think in terms of savings, we definitely want to see some savings again. Yeah. That's another major thing, especially for me and my bottom line. And then I would think just about the accessibility. Again, it goes back to service, but we just want to make sure that you guys are available.
Exactly. That makes a lot of sense. All right. Other kind of question, just as far as the process goes, that decision-making process, are you the sole decision maker, or are there other people that would have to be involved?
Well, I would be one of the decision makers, but I would bring it to my CEO as well. Right, CEO.
Okay. Another thing as well is there anything, again, obviously every office you're going to have people that might have, some issues with changes, things like that. Is there anything, that you think we should discuss or that we haven't had a chance to discuss yet? Just regards around the office, any issues or obstacles that you might foresee coming up?
Issues and obstacles just would be price. I mean, bringing you on board, I think the major thing that my CEO would want to see is what kind of savings are you guys going to bring us?
Right. But you would, again, at least from an individual traveler standpoint, you don't see it being a huge issue bringing a travel management company on board, obviously assuming that the fit was good.
No, I don't see any problems.
Okay. Well, again, I really appreciate all the info you gave me. I know we kind of went over a lot already, but it sounds kind of to me like obviously the biggest things, and you kind of said it explicitly, I know a few times, but obviously service, obviously the time that's being taken, obviously it'd be great to alleviate that, as well as the savings. Obviously everyone's trying to, reduce their costs whenever they can as well. Another huge point for you. And then just accessibility, obviously, are the 3 big things. So I understand it's really the keys to, I think, how we see any relationship with our partners, right? I think those are 3 pillars, and really the 3 most important aspects of any partnership, or any successful partnership, I should say. Just to give you a bit of a kind of intro, surrounding those issues, where we might be able to help, again, on the service side. Again, we'd align you with a dedicated travel manager. They kind of become an extension of your business, which I think really can speak to the accessibility side. Obviously, if you're going to reach out to them, they're going to be responding to you within 10 minutes. You send an email, but they're also available by phone. You're going to be, the phone's going to be picked up within 3 rings. After hours, same, it's always the case. You're going to have someone, not only from, or maybe not necessarily your travel manager unless they're on call, but you're going to have someone from their small kind of tight knit group. And the reason we like to do that is because what that really does for us is, again, it kind of keeps that same consistency throughout. I think that's something that's really important. And again, what we do is we'd be able to build in everyone's preferences or requirements, any travel policy you might have into that. So when you're talking to, whether it be your travel manager, someone after hours on call, you're going to get the same level of service. You can expect that everything's going to be adhered to whatever your needs may be on that side. As well, again, the other thing on the savings side, I think the biggest thing there is, we're a $20 billion, global company, and with that comes obviously a great deal of buying power. And especially with some of the destinations you mentioned, I know you mentioned China, India, those especially, we're going to see some immediate savings. I believe domestic transporter, again, I think in a lot of ways we can remain cost neutral, but what we can really do, especially on that side, I think is going to be, is really our kind of proactive consultative approach. So if you give us, a few months of booking travel, we're able to kind of go back, analyze your travel patterns, destinations, types of fare, literally everything, all of your activities, and we're able to come back, make some recommendations to you. Obviously, we can go back and negotiate on our behalf as well. If we find, you're staying at certain hotel chains and even really make recommendations for you to kind of, go to certain, whatever chains, use certain suppliers, and we're able to kind of leverage that to really maximize the benefit that I think you'd see from us.
Okay.
The other thing as well, just from a time standpoint as well, the reporting side. So I brought a few, again, a little example of some of the reporting we can do. It can really be drilled down to whatever specific elements you want to include, but you'll see, again, you'll have your company dashboard. It's going to be kind of your basic information, just make it nice and easy and accessible kind of right off the bat if you just want to take a quick look. But at the same time, again, if you're, booking by, project codes, by traveler, by destination, even, as far as detailed as, how far in advance you're booking, again, all these little things, we're able to go back, analyze that, and then find ways to further reduce your costs as well on top of the money you'd see saving, especially, like I said, international travel, but the savings you'd see using our negotiated rates and exclusive programs as well. So again, I know I kind of threw a lot at you there, but do you have any questions or concerns about anything I just mentioned?
Sure. First question, how much does this cost?
Yeah, so the biggest thing there, so it'll be, we operate in a very transparent fee structure. So how that works is basically per itinerary, it's a $35 charge when flights are involved. If not, obviously, it's just a quick hotel. Obviously, no need generally, if you are traveling, it'd be kind of your one-stop shop, which is what we pride ourselves on being. But it's just that one fee. So from there on, obviously, a lot comes with that. You're everything from, speaking to your travel manager, making cancellations, asking questions, using our 24/7 service, taking advantage, like I said, of our reporting offerings, as well as, periodic meetings, like I said, to kind of consult and really dig deeper and see where else we can, save you money further. All that's kind of included in there as well. There's no additional fees or costs you need to worry about other than that.
Okay. And then in terms of the account manager, is it like a call center? How does that work?
Yeah. So we don't have a call center. So again, the way we're a little bit different, I feel is, and we've got that kind of big company, obviously, corporate backing, as far as the savings side is concerned. But the one way I think we're fairly unique is we operate in small teams. So like I said, you'll have your one dedicated travel manager, like I mentioned, and then from there, what'll happen is if there is after hours service needed, it's going to be, someone's going to be on call from that team of 6, and they all work together, they collaborate, they get to know each other's business. And that really is what drives, I think, the success of that model and allows you to get that consistent, approach that, or sort of feeling that no matter when you're talking to someone, you feel like you're talking to an expert, someone who knows your business as well.
And then in terms of the reporting, do you send that to me on a monthly basis? How does that work?
It can be as often as you like. I mean, generally, I'd say monthly is the most common. But at the same time, again, if you need it, it'll be really available at your fingertips. You'll have access again to your kind of online portal. You'll be able to see all that information when you do need it. But at the same time, like I said, we're able to kind of really customize that to whatever you need, both the reporting itself and how often you receive it, how often we review as well.
Okay. And then in terms of my guys, I know you asked me earlier about if I would have any issues or anything with certain people. Some of my guys may have a lot of questions. Do you guys come in and do like some sort of meeting with them initially? How does that work?
So we want to make sure it's as seamless as possible. Obviously, right? We don't want this kind of change to cause a bump in the road, especially, like I said, when you're in this kind of process of growing so quickly, I know you don't really have time for those speed bumps. So we come in, we'll do lunch and learns. Again, whatever you really need to do, as well, to make sure that all your travelers, managers, whoever might be associated with your travel program is going to have a clear understanding of what we can do for them, what we're offering, and then the process for any of whatever their needs might be.
Okay. And then in terms of the policy you talked about earlier, my last question, is that something that you build, or how does the policy thing work? Again,
it's that consultative approach we take. So we want to be an extension of the business, like I said. So what that kind of means from a travel policy perspective is we'll build that with you. We'll take the time to do that and make sure, like I said, based on whatever your business needs are, and we can obviously do that right up front and continue to amend that and make recommendations to make changes that are going to further contain costs as we go along and really get to know you. But for sure, that's something we're generally used to, doing up front and really building and starting off on the right foot, I would say.
Okay. And then in terms of the commitment, is there a contract or?
So there's no contract. That's the other thing as well. So again, that's one other area where I think it really separates us is, again, we're fighting for your business every step of the way, every single trip, every single booking we do. We know you can walk away at any time, but at the same time, we're confident in our level of service that, we don't feel we need a contract to retain our employees. We do have a 95% retention rate as it is right now. So, that's something I think that separates us, and we just want to make sure we show our partners that, hey, like, we're not trying to, get you locked in. We want it to be a beneficial partnership, and that's the only way, it's going to be successful is through that and not through tying you down. And, and again, there's plenty of ways to do it, but that's just kind of the way we believe, creates the best relationships and partnerships.
Okay. That's all the questions I have.
That's great. Well, again, I know we know a little bit about the decision-making process, so you'll bring it up to the CEO. Again, be creative. I would love to, the next step for us at least would be to, have an implementation meeting, which would touch on a lot of the things you mentioned, right? Getting up to speed on both sides. For us, obviously learning about your travelers, your travel policy, and your, the way your travel trends, to kind of build that policy and make sure we have everything we need. So if someone reaches out at any time, we know we're going to have all necessary information, whether that be, again, like frequent flyer numbers, credit cards that they may want to use. And at the same time, obviously what we'll do is we'll come in and we want to make sure you're, just like I kind of talked about a little bit, make sure you really understand the processes, how it works, really understand the fee structure, all that kind of thing. Just make sure everyone's on the same page. So that's what we like to do. It only takes about 20 to 30 minutes, and then you're essentially good to go and start booking and hitting the ground running from there. So I was wondering, I know you're growing a lot. Like, do you have any trips kind of in the near future that are coming up, or what's your timeline looking like?
We have trips periodically. So I would say every month there's a new trip. So definitely we're gonna have some trips next month.
Sure. Would you have some time? Like, again, I know it's late in the week now, but even like early next week then for us to come in and kind of have that next meeting with the CEO, or?
Next week would be perfect. Sure. Him and I always have morning meetings, so perfect. Definitely get you in.
Okay, yeah. So we'll say, just to give you, I know Mondays sometimes are tough in the morning, so we'll say like Tuesday morning, 10 a.m.
Sounds good.
All right, that sounds great. Well, again, I won't take up any more of your time for now. It was a pleasure meeting you. Like I said, finally in person. I had a few phone conversations there, so it's good to put a face to the name. But like I said, we'll see you on Tuesday, and again, we'll bring along your travel manager as soon as they're assigned. You'll get to meet them as well.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.